Hi everyone, hope everybody's well. I am coming to you with a bit of a different video today. I have been wanting to do a video like this for a while, but I've just been trying to find the right time, and now does seem the right time, which I will come to later why. I have unfortunately been dealing with quite a chronic pain for a good 2.5, 3 years now, which has affected everything in my life, and is actually why I'm here today now on this fitness journey. And I kind of just wanted to put this out there and hope that it resonates with somebody else who might be going through a similar thing and doesn't know what to do, or is at their wit's end with it like I've been, just someone to talk to, and just hope that it kind of connects with somebody. I feel like we need to have more open conversations about things like this, and I hope that it helps somebody. It's going to be quite a long video, so I'll strap in and get a cup of tea, and I really appreciate it if you did listen to the whole video, but don't worry if not. I would like to put a bit of a trigger warning on it if you're quite squeamish or don't like listening to things about women's gynecological problems, procedures or periods or anything to do with like IBS type issues, then it might not be the video for you, but I just wanted to put that warning out there in case. So I suppose I better start with what is the pain, where do I suffer? So I suffer with a really bad pain in my lower right abdominal area, sits about here, so it's kind of where my ovaries sit, I suppose you could say. Like I said, I've been dealing with this for nearly 3 years now. It came on out of nowhere, and I still don't actually know what it is. We've still not got to the bottom of it, which hopefully by the end of this year we will. But I really do believe it stems from having extremely painful periods my whole life. It could be possible endometriosis, which is the kind of route we're going down at the moment. But like I say, it's not been diagnosed, so I don't know yet. But if I start right at the beginning, I have suffered with really painful periods my whole entire life. I actually started my periods when I was 10 years old, so very, very young in primary school, very overwhelming. Only person that I knew that had started at that young age, and it was very scary. And from a very young age, they were extremely painful. I went through my whole high school life suffering, either not being able to go into school or getting sent home from school at lunchtime, having to be so careful about what I wore because I'd be on quite heavy quite a lot of the time, have to take loads of stuff with me, go to the toilet extra times. It was so embarrassing. Again, not a lot of people were on till they were in the later years of high school, so it was a horrible time for me, and I just had to deal with it. No painkillers really touched it, and it was horrible. But when I was 17, I actually went onto the microgynon pill, and that did massively help with the pain. And I luckily went and started dance college around 16 as well. And I think doing the constant exercise mixed with having the pill and painkillers, I managed to get through my dance college years quite well. Still suffered, but not quite as badly. And then when I left dance college at 21, I kind of came off the pill around a year later. Just because I'd been on it for such a long period of time, I thought it was time to come off it, give my body a bit of a break from it. What a bad idea that was. Wow, I forgot how bad the periods actually got. Excruciating pain, worse than I ever remember. I literally couldn't get out of bed, really sick. Like I said, I do suffer with IBS quite badly, and that used to trigger that horrendously. Dizzy, just very unwell for 2 days at least. Couldn't get out of bed or couldn't leave the house. So for work, I had to take 2 days off sick just for a period, and that happens every single month. But I was determined to try and stay off the pill for a decent amount of time, and I think I did for about 6 to 8 months, but it was the worst 6 to 8 months of my life, and I knew something wasn't right. So excuse me if I'm looking down, I've got things written down just to help me with dates, but I decided to go to the doctors in February 2019 to start back on the pill, just because I didn't know what else to do. And at that stage, she thought I might have polycystic ovaries or something along them lines, so I went for a blood test, but it came back normal, so it kind of just got left. And then anyway, I went back onto the pill and I was absolutely fine. And then in between February and November 2019, I can't remember exactly when it started, but this is when this pain here started to flare up really badly. The only way I can describe it is like a really sharp, intense pain, a dull, it mixes between that and a dull ache. and it triggers whenever I do anything. So walking, exercising, housework, on my feet for too long, getting a train, like anything, any normal life activity, it would trigger it, except when I'm sitting down. So yeah, it was life debilitating and I didn't know what to do. So I went to the doctors on the 1st of November 2019. So if we think about where we are now, the first time I went about this pain was a long time ago. I saw a male doctor and he was lovely, but because I suffered with IBS, it was straight to, oh, I think you're just constipated. And I was like, maybe, possibly. I suffer with IBS mixed, so I go one way and then I go the other, dependent on different days, what's going on, what I've eaten. And I kind of, at that time was, so I thought, yeah, possibly is, went away, thought hopefully that's it, that'll be the end of it. Anyway, the pain didn't go away, and about 4 months later I decided to go back to the doctors because it was unbearable, and asked for a different doctor. And this time I got a woman doctor, and she really did try to understand and decided that it could possibly be something like endometriosis, so to send me some more tests. So I had some more blood tests and I had an internal scan, so that's where it's like a big probe type thing, and they put it inside and they kind of scan all your internal organs like your womb, your cervix, your ovaries, fallopian tubes. So they basically have a look if there's anything on there like abrasions, cysts, endometriosis, anything like that. But because I was in so much pain, anything even touching there just triggered the pain so badly. I can't describe the pain I was in while I was having that done. So they didn't get, basically the scan came back as normal, but it had limited views on the right hand side, and that's because I was probably in a lot of pain, so they couldn't get complete views. But that means that they never actually fully saw this side. So how could it come back and just be written off as normal, because they actually didn't get a full scan of this side? Anyway, I then left it to obviously get the results back, and when they came back as normal, I thought, okay, maybe I'm being dramatic, maybe, I don't know, maybe there isn't something as badly wrong as I thought. So I left it and I just dealt with it and got on with the pain and tried to get on with day-to-day life in absolute excruciating agony. Anyway, I decided, I think this is 7 months later, so I'd gone from February to September 2020, and I decided to go back to this doctor and say, the pain's still not gone away, what can I do, what other tests can I have, can we do further investigations? And she basically said, I don't really know what to do next, it's come back as normal, so what now? And reverted back to saying, you suffer with IBS, don't you? It could just be linked to your IBS, are you sure it's not? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. It was kind of left there. Anyway, I luckily moved areas, so from one area in Essex to another, so I got a new doctor's. And when I went to this new doctor's, I was landed, it's like the gods opened and listened to me, and I was landed with the most incredible doctor, Dr. Turner, and she is amazing. Honestly, she's been like a godsend to me. She really took the time to listen to me, understand me, and she decided that I needed to be referred to gynecology. So we're nearly a year later now, and I'm only just being referred to gynecology at the hospital. So anyway, got referred for that in October, and the appointment wasn't until February in the next year, which is just NHS, things take time. So I had however many months to wait till I had this appointment, so another waiting game while still dealing with the pain. Anyway, dealt with it, but I had a personal training session on the 6th of January, and I don't know why it was so bad, but it triggered this pain to the worst I've ever felt it in the year that I had it. I was extremely dizzy from the pain, couldn't see, felt like I was going to faint, felt extremely sick, was all clammy. I was actually like physically screaming and crying in pain, and I didn't know what to do. My boyfriend Glenn was at his wit's end because he didn't know what to do either, and I'm not somebody that would easily call 111 or 999. I hate to do things like that unless I'm literally dying. I'm just not somebody who does that. I wouldn't go to a doctor or hospital unless I really needed to, but I had no option. I had to ring 111 because I didn't know what to do. It actually felt like something was going to explode inside of me. That's the only way I could describe the pain, and it was scary because I thought, what if something is about to explode, because I still didn't know what was wrong with me. Anyway, 111, couldn't really do much, didn't really know what to do. And it was COVID at this time, so I didn't want to go into the hospital. So I decided just to sleep it off, and luckily I woke up the next day and it was still there, but it wasn't as excruciating. I rang the doctors and she said, it's a month till your appointment at the hospital, try and hold on. So I did, held on. And then, yeah, I had my appointment at the hospital, and it was the worst experience of my whole entire 26 years with a doctor. Yeah, he was horrible. I don't want to use nasty words, but he was degrading, no care, just did not care at all for my problem or what I was going through. I walked in the room, he took down all my details and what I'm suffering with, and then he basically just went, right, get up, go behind the curtain, take everything off from the waist down. Came in, went straight into doing an internal. No, are you okay? Are you comfortable with me doing this? This is what I'm going to do now. This is what I'm doing. I always feel with something so invasive, they should always explain what's going on. And it was the worst experience of my whole entire life. Yeah, it was horrendous. And I wish that nobody ever has to go through something like that. Anyway, I sat back down and he proceeds to say, I think all this pain is in your head. I think you're basically making it up, and I think you're suffering with extreme anxiety. I'm not somebody who really gets that anxious, except for high anxious situations. So I was not happy. And then I was like, but what about that? I've suffered with such painful periods my whole life. Like, does that not link in maybe some way? Well, don't all women get painful periods? I honestly, I bit my tongue because I didn't know what to do or what to say. I'm not a rude person, so I didn't know what to do. And he then proceeded to say, have you thought about getting pregnant anytime soon? Because that sometimes solves these kind of pain issues. And I lost it. I was like, I'm 26 years old. I'm not in a position financially, ready, anything yet to have children. And I can't believe that was his diagnosis. Just go and get pregnant. And don't all women suffer with painful periods? After proceeding to just do an internal on me with no explanation. Deep breaths. Anyway, so left that appointment very frustrated. He discharged me. So that was it. I was then discharged from the hospital from gynecology. What do? I was left still with the pain and no answers. So I waited for the referral to come back through to my doctors with like a letter of what they write up. Anyway, I spoke to my doctor 14 days later, and yeah, she wasn't happy at all. Let's put it that way. I put in a big complaint to the hospital. Won't name his name, but it was at Basildon Hospital in Essex, and that's all I'm going to say. Horrendous. Anyway, she then re-referred me to Southend Hospital. But this was April 2021, and the appointment wasn't until December 2021 that I could get on the NHS. And it was a telephone appointment, and I thought, what's the point? Yeah, how can you do a gynecology appointment on the phone? You can't. So anyway, I decided at this point to go private. £200 for a consultation, and yeah, pushes me well beyond my means for a 15-minute, half an hour appointment. But I had no choice at this point. It was my life. It was ruining my life. So I went for a private appointment on the 8th of May 2021, and this is where everything changed. I finally had a doctor who listened to me. I mean, I'd paid to go private, so you expect it, but finally someone was listening to me. She was amazing. I went to Nuffield Health in Brentwood, and I couldn't speak highly enough of the doctor that I got. She really listened to me, went through everything. And when she wanted to do an internal to see if she could feel anything, it was, do you want to do this? You don't have to, it's completely at your choice. Talked me through the whole procedure, everything she was doing at every point. And it's just unbelievable if someone just takes that little bit more care and understanding over such an invasive procedure, how much more comfortable you feel. And yeah, no one should have to go through what I did with that male gynecologist, because it's not right and it's not fair. Anyway, everything that she felt normal, but she was like, there's something definitely not right. So she was like, you need to have a laparoscopy, which is keyhole surgery, where they go in just under your belly button with a camera, and if there's any issues, they'll go in at the sides and take anything away that's not right. So that was great. That's kind of the outcome I wanted. But then I couldn't afford to have a laparoscopy on the private. Yeah, I'm private. It was £3,000, and I don't have that kind of money. So I had to be re-referred back to the NHS with her. This took 9 months. So I saw her on the 8th of May 2021. My appointment with her on the NHS wasn't until the 10th of February 2022. I already knew that I needed the laparoscopy, but I had to wait just to get this appointment to be put on the laparoscopy list on the NHS. So I then had to go for another 9 months. So the whole of last year I had to go through dealing with this pain on my own, knowing that there was something probably wrong, but I had to wait. Anyway, skip to now. I've had my appointment last month and it went really well. We went forward with signing all the papers for me to have the laparoscopy. She explained all the procedure and I'm now on the list. I'm now on a list, but I don't know when the operation will be. I haven't had a letter through yet, which I'm thinking it'll probably be the end of this year. So it's another year I have to deal with this pain. I'm doing this now because I suffered really badly after the appointment, and I did consider going private at one point because I couldn't deal with it. I went into a really bad place last year, really down. I got really anxious, just wasn't myself. The reason I put on a lot of my weight was because of this. I was sat on a sofa all day, every day, didn't want to go out of the house because it hurt, didn't want to do any housework because it hurt, didn't want to do anything or move because it hurt. So I sat on a sofa, I ate, I didn't do anything, and I piled on the weight. It was one of the worst years of my life because I was dealing with a chronic pain and no one understood, no one knew what it was. And yeah, it was horrendous. Luckily, towards the end of last year, I got a really bad chest infection and I went on 3 different sets of antibiotics. And for some reason, it helped the pain, and the pain kind of died down a little bit. Whether it got rid of a bit of an infection, I don't know. So I managed to get through the last part of last year a little bit more easily, and I thought, okay, I can wait to this appointment now. Anyway, in the last 2 weeks, the pain's flared up really badly again, and this is why I'm now doing this video, because I've had a really bad 2 weeks. And I had a smear test last Monday, and I don't know if that's triggered it. I don't know if that's re-triggered the pain, which makes me then think it is definitely gynae. I can't put my finger on that, but it hurt the day after and it's not gone away. So I'm now just trying to deal with the pain, obviously knowing that I've got this laparoscopy, so I've got to stay positive knowing I've got something coming up. But yeah, it's very hard to deal with when there's a paracetamol and ibuprofen don't hit the pain. It just doesn't do anything. So yeah, I'm just trying to stay positive, just dose myself up before I go to the gym, hoping that it takes the edge off it. Trying not to do too many steps, just because walking seems to be the biggest trigger for some reason. But yeah, just trying to get through this year really, and hope that I get some answers towards the end of this year, and obviously I'll update you as soon as I do. If you've got to this part of the video, then I thank you and appreciate you listening to my story, but I really hope if someone else is going through a similar journey or similar pain, that this reaches out to them, and I'm always here, inbox is always open to talk. I just want to take this time to say a huge, massive thank you to my family, who have been there for me through this whole entire thing. My really close friends who know everything about this and have to deal with me crying and moaning about it all the time, and especially to my boyfriend Glenn. He has to deal with it every single day of his life, and it's been a really hard couple of years for both of us, because it's really affected me, and I've definitely not been my complete self. So yeah, it's not been an easy journey, and I'm obviously still on it. And I really hope to get some answers at the end of this year, but I do really appreciate if you've got to this point of the video, so thank you for listening, and yeah, I'll update you as soon as I know more. But yeah, living with chronic pain isn't easy, and my heart goes out to anybody who is dealing with a day-to-day chronic pain that they can't do anything about, don't really know what it is, and are still looking for answers, or something to help. So yeah, thank you, and I will hopefully speak to you all again soon.